Very good, thank you. All right, thank you all for coming. A very busy night, so let's do it
Name tag,
as easy as possible and civilized as possible. We're gonna start,
try to put a note in for us to get a name tag for Mr. Conti.
yeah.
There's gotta be one floating around with his name
Well,
on it.
if we put it, if the
Son.
woman that's doing the
There's gotta be
notes,
one,
that
he had one before.
Sonia would take a note. All right, very well. I want to thank you all for coming for the Wareham Zoning Board of Appeal for tonight, Wednesday, July 10, 2024. It is 6:30 PM.
Pull that mic a little closer.
That's as close as it gets. Sorry.
It's hard to hear with all the ACs.
It's the ACs is the problem. If you want to come forward, sit in the front, go ahead. And we are at the room 520 of the Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Make a roll call. My far right, Mr. Troy Larson. Our clerk, Mr. Jim Akabachi. My far left, Associate Member Chris Conti. Regular member, Mr. Richard Semple. Myself, the Chair, Nazi Al-Kulasi. We're going to start. Apparently, Ms. Veronica Dabini is not here tonight. Mr. Conti can take her seat and vote for her. We're gonna do the minutes 4:24:24 and 6:26:24. Who read the minutes?
we've got the minutes for,
No?
I didn't see anything online, most of it, so I didn't read any of it.
He didn't read them. We'll continue the minutes.
yeah, please, because I haven't reviewed them either.
Let's continue minutes
So moved.
till the 24. Do I have a second on Jim's motion?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Second by Troy. Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye. If I get a
Richie.
chance to review them,
Richie? Well, he didn't review them, see, he
okay,
wants to.
never mind, all right,
Richie?
continue, yeah.
And myself, yes, so we'll, that continue to 7:24:24. Jimmy, highlight for me the continued one. Okay.
Yep. And this one here.
All right, 39-23, Wareham Cranberry Highway LLC, 3020 Cranberry Highway. Public hearing is open. Counselor, your name for the record?
Jillian Morton, 184 Main Street.
Okay. So you are requesting continuous?
Yes, you should have in your hands a continuance,
We do.
just to give you a status update on where we are. I don't know if Mr. Cadero's
For
here.
the record, Veronica Devenese is here. It's 6:34 PM. Sorry.
That's okay. So we have a review that we got our peer review back, and we've sent now our findings back to Phil, and I know both of the engineers are working closely. Mr. Cadero, obviously, he just got it on Monday, so so our hope is to be able to have the engineers work on finalizing that and getting it, up to snuff. And then, unfortunately, I'm not here the next hearing, which is your second July hearing. So I'm requesting August 14th.
Okay.
August
What-
what?
14.
14th, I
What's the
think.
deadline, Chris, on that?
Okay.
31st?
31st.
My letter did include an additional deadline, I believe.
You
Right.
did?
So
Sonia.
we're extending the time for the board to make a decision until...
September 25th is what I
September
gave for a
25th.
deadline for you guys, if that
Just for
works.
the record, the 14th and 28th of August, I won't be here, but I'll try to go on Zoom.
Yeah.
All right, so 3020 Cran Highway. Okay. Continue to 8:14.
So
All right.
I'm motioning that we approve that continuance, the 14th and the 25th.
14, what?
We got to vote on it, don't we?
Yeah, 14 and 25th?
August 14 for the
Yeah.
next hearing, and the 25th of September for the board to make a decision.
Okay. Second by Rich. All in favor say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye.
because you aren't here. Chris?
Aye.
And Rich? And myself, aye. So that's continued, 500. Okay,
So we kicking Mr. Conti off as quick as he was on, and Veronica's back now, or what?
well, kind
That
of.
was a short,
I'm sure she'll be missing hearings. All right, let's move to 51-23, D. Michelle, 43 South Boulevard. You hear from him? Okay.
Yes. Attorney Jillian Moran here for the applicant. I want to just remind you what this was. This was the case with the poles and the
Yeah.
curtain. Okay. So my client actually removed, the curtains hadn't been up since last November, and the poles have been removed since May. So, as far as the appeal of the letter, in my opinion, there's no violation of the poles or the curtains. So, as far as a ruling from you, I don't know if that's just I
We can-
withdraw, or you make a determination, however you would like to do it. Because at this point, it's my opinion, the notice of that violation is not there anymore. The poles and the curtain aren't there.
Commissioner, you guys inspected, they're gone?
Yes.
All right, any questions? Anybody here for 43 South Boulevard? Is it 40? None. I think there was a violation read by the commissioner. We can, we're not gonna overturn it, let's withdraw it. Let's have the board withdraw the violation. Can we get a motion to withdraw the violation written by the commissioner?
So moved.
We have a motion to withdraw the violation by Commissioner Turner. Do I have a second on that?
Can we withdraw?
Yeah, I can
We're
request
gonna
that it
withdraw
withdraw.
on his behalf. We're gonna withdraw on his behalf. Do I have a second on
I'll
that?
second.
Second by Veronica. Any discussion? And findings that the applicant removed the violation. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, Nazi, aye. So that's
0-0.
Five.
Withdrawn.
Withdrawn. Sonia, you getting all that? Asma, okay,
So skip down to
What is it?
2624, please.
okay. 2624. Okay, Mr. 26-24, Creighton, appeal 24 Cove Street. Just stay, just 2 seconds. Just the continue on. You can stay. Go ahead, Counselor, have a seat.
Chairman, this is Dennis Connery on behalf of the petitioner, Mr. and Mrs. Creighton. Yesterday, we received from Mr. Turner some documents and additional ruling from him. We're just asking for 2 weeks to be able to digest what he said and perhaps respond to it and work towards a resolution of the issue. So if we could have a 2-week continuance, if that's convenient with the board.
We can, but did you guys apply to Boston yet? To FEMA? No? Did you bother applying to FEMA yet?
There is no place to appeal to FEMA. There's 2 appeal processes that are available to the petitioner here. One is this board, and the other is the BBRS, which is the appeal process for building regulation in Boston, and this falls under both.
You can get in touch with FEMA. I've done many things with them. That's not a problem. I don't know why you guys have a hard time reaching them.
Actually, we have contacted FEMA, and they've steered us back to Mr. Turner and said that this is within his jurisdiction, and I think Mr. Turner mentioned that at the last hearing that we had, that
His jurisdiction to determine if that you're in the flood, but not on the calculation.
we're not contesting that we're in a floodplain.
Right, but that's his job, to determine if you're in a flood. But the calculations, the number, like I said before, I mean, I don't mind the extension. Let's see what the board does, but I think we're not going anywhere with that. I still believe we can't grant you that. We don't have jurisdiction to grant you that. I still believe that unless the board feels otherwise, if they reviewed on.
I didn't come today prepared to argue that, but I have the FEMA regulations that essentially say that the local official has authority to make a determination as to the value of the improvement. And that's the issue here.
All right,
The allegation is that we're above the FEMA threshold because of Mr. Turner's determination that the improvement,
I understand.
the allowed amount. And that determination, according to FEMA, is to be made at the local level.
Correct.
By, in this case, Mr. Turner. And
Correct.
I think
Why-
he agrees with that.
Right, he can make the determination, but we can't act on it. But you know what, let's continue this. Let me call FEMA myself, and we go for next, come next time. Next time is very busy, so
Want to continue to July 24?
if you promise you'll beat that.
well,
You know
what's
what, it's gonna be a short one, yeah. It's a yes or no.
August
That's
14th is after that, because the first is 7th.
Right.
First week, so.
14.
August 14th would be
And,
after that.
Let's continue.
15th will be after that?
Yes,
I
Commissioner.
won't be here the next meeting also.
It won't
July
be.
24th, you will not be here,
No, I will not.
and you'd like to be here for this.
Yeah, he gotta testify
I
what we did.
believe I would have to be.
Like is the word, but
He's a necessary party, I would say.
Now, this
necessary
is the
time.
problem. When we argued this, Mr. Conte wasn't here. On the 14th and the 28th, I won't be here, so you only have four members to argue your case. You need 4 out of 4. Would that be okay?
Is Mr. Conti able to review, did we only have one hearing at this point?
No, we had twice. How many hearings, how many times you been before us, before
We had
that?
one hearing.
Yeah, but did you come one time for continuance?
No,
Requested it by hand?
Mr. Turner had wanted additional time to do
Okay,
his
so
calculation.
Chris can sit
So
on it.
we went over 2 weeks ago to tonight, so.
All right, so Chris can review it and sit on it. Mr. Conte can
you
review.
want to try to come on July 24th?
No, let him come on the 14th.
Mr. Turner's not available on the 24th.
14 he
It's got to
is.
go over to
So
the
we're not gonna
15th,
come.
I guess?
14, you... 14, you available?
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
14.
We
Can we
need
get-
extension as well, because I think he's, July 31st is the,
Chris, what's your deadline extension?
We're looking to extend the time for the board to make a decision as well.
Yeah, I
Would you
understand that.
Agree with
We're
that?
I agree with that.
So let's take the August out to what, September 25th?
September 26,
26th?
yeah. So you gotta give us written extension deadline decision for
I
the...
understand.
Okay? So can we get a motion to continue until August 14?
Yeah, so moved. August 14th for the extension and September 26th for the time for the board to make a decision.
Can I get a motion on Jim's?
That was my motion.
Second by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Rich? And myself, Nazi, aye. So that's the 24. All right, very good.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Chairman.
mean,
Members of the board.
August 14, sorry, for 26-24.
Yep.
Continue to 8, 14.
So the next one that
All right,
we're going back to
524.
is, we can't hear this one tonight because this account is unresolved. So the funds are not available.
No, we can act.
Huh?
We're gonna act,
We can act?
yeah?
Okay.
All right, 5-24, Mr. Aldaya, 2544 and 2546 Cranberry Highway.
Waiting for Mr. Madden.
Public hearing is still open.
It's my understanding he resolved that issue, too. Is that correct? With the bank check?
All right, what do we got?
So we're here tonight looking for a continuance, which I know that's not what you want to hear, because last time you were not very happy. But we have Mr. Madden here, you know, he as far as where he's at with drawings and things like that. He's working on it. I know you wanted some more information on what was happening with the tanks and things like that. Maybe Mr. Madden can speak to that, because I know that they purchased that, and that should be going in shortly. And again, I want to go back to, I know we spoke about this whole deny with prejudice. I would say if you are going that route, I would want to withdraw before any action's taken.
No, we'll do without prejudice. We don't want to choke the guy.
Right, but I think I want to withdraw it.
That don't matter. Okay, so what happened since yesterday? You finished the plan?
No, have not finished the plan since yesterday, other than continuing to work on it. But as Jillian was pointing out, as far as the,
Just for the record, Bill, your name, I forgot.
I'm Bill Madden from GAF Engineering here on behalf of the applicant. Yeah, so when you were talking previously about the floor drains, the MDC trap, the storage tank, and things like that, there's quite a little bit of an ordeal going through that process. You know, I was fine with what was proposed, and I had given it to the applicant.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
Somebody in the room is mumbling, and it's making it very hard for me to hear this person. If you want to mumble, there's a hallway out there, go mumble in the hall, but we need you to be quiet in here, please. It's hard. Thank you.
Thank you, go
So
ahead.
there was quite a bit of discussion, you know, with contractors, with the plumbing inspector in town, with other people in other towns about what is actually required there. You know, it took a fair amount of time and effort to pull together all the research, which I did do, and I provided it to the plumbing inspector, I provided to the client. But it took, you know, literally 4 weeks to get it all together. And you know, hopefully everybody understood what was going on with that, but we felt that that was one of the first and foremost things to deal with, is eliminate any potential pollution source that
How much time you need to get the site plan ready?
August 14th, because I'm not here next week.
and I'd like to provide it to you a little bit before the hearing. I don't think you're overly enamored with having the plans dropped on the meeting, so I would like to give them to you at
Let's
least a
do
week.
September 11,
September
if the
11th?
board agrees.
Okay.
Mr. Madden, you may not have been here, but in prior meetings, the board has announced that we want stuff like what you'll be presenting 2 weeks prior to the meeting.
Okay.
There's been a little bit of push and shove because things get dropped off too close and people don't get a chance to review, so.
Understood.
Can you be with plans 2 weeks before September?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, before we go further, anyone in the public want to comment on this project? I hear none. So, board questions, Troy?
None.
Veronica?
None.
Jimmy?
I'm good.
Richard?
I'm good.
Chris?
What's that?
Are you guys okay with extending till September 11?
I am.
Yes.
As long as we're.
Deadline has to be extended as well,
Yeah.
whatever you see fit.
There's no question, there's no suspicion that there's other activities other than what we've allowed going on in the meantime, is there?
No, I mean,
Told them no, and
Okay,
I,
okay, no,
it's
I
not
have no
supposed to.
problem.
yeah.
All right, extension,
To continue it.
huh?
I'll make the motion to continue it till September 11th, provided that we have an extension till end of September?
September
Board
26,
decision,
26th, yeah.
extension. Now, September 11 gives you a lot of time, Counselor. You come here with no plans, we're gonna call it a day.
Got it.
so you want September what for the board?
All right,
26th?
26?
we got a motion by Veronica to extend 5-24 till September 11.
Second.
Second by Rich. Any discussion? And the extension is until September 26. Do I have a second by Rich? All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Myself, aye. So that's continued.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Mr. Sergi, 10-24 for 2 Sarah Beth. Council, public hearing still open.
Just let me grab my file. Just give me a second. Okay. Attorney Jillian Morton here for the applicant, Joe Sergi, the homeowner of 2 Sarah Beth Lane. So where we are at in this case is that we are at an appeal of the violation. The building department has said that this is a contractor's yard. We've heard from opposition regarding character of my client and things like that, but I haven't seen any evidence into the fact that the definition of a contractor's yard has been proven. So I'm urging you to look at the evidence that I provided, pictures of the numerous amount of other vehicles down Charge Pond Road, tradesmen who have their vehicle, commercial vehicle, as well as they live in their residence. This can be allowed by special permit. So in R130, there is a section 381, which allows home office, a profession, or trade conducted by resident on premises. So I think the commissioner's argument is saying that this, it isn't a home office, but I'm reading it as saying a trade, and we're not having any manufacturing there. If anyone's been to the site recently, Mr. Sergi has put up a PVC fence. I have pictures of what it looks like. It's a nice green grass. There is no big truck there. So in my mind, you are within your authority to give a special permit, condition it, say if Mr. Sergi sells it, this goes away. And also restrict the amount of vehicles, and if he violates it, it gets pulled. This is a man's livelihood. I think it would be a really slippery slope for any of my clients then who are tradesmen, carpenters, the asphalt people, like you're gonna force them to have to go get their own commercial site, and we know how expensive real estate is. So that's my argument. I think that it protects the town, because at this point, I don't see how the argument that it's a contractor yard, just because you think so, I don't see it could be arbitrary and capricious and could be appealable.
All right, well, last time you left it that you want to argue a variance. What happened to that?
I looked at the bylaws and saw that it can be special permit, and I don't want to, it behooves me to make it that how I believe that it should be for, this is not just his case, this is Wareham in general. There's so many tradesmen, and to have them argue a variance on every,
Well, definitely variance not gonna fly, but a special permit, this is one man show inside his house with a 1x2 sign. That's it.
There's
How
no
is it-
customers. I mean, again, if you want to say variance, you can condition the variance. You can say that he can't have any customers coming there. He has no signage.
Let me go with the board. Troy, what do you think?
I don't have any comment at the moment.
Veronica?
I don't have any comment.
Jimmy?
Just one question. What section did you
That was
find?
381.
It is allowed, it's true, but it definitely don't
381.
fit.
But a special permit has to be that it's not detrimental to the neighborhood, isn't
Yeah,
that?
to the public good. And again, I don't think this is a forum for neighborly dispute. You should not have to be dealing with that. All of the things that they were brought up, and again, I don't mudsling, I don't go back and forth, they were from 4 or 5 years ago. The selectmen that, Mr. Sergi, he has children at the house. This is, again, a man's livelihood. I'm gonna fight for it however I can. It's, so as far as if you deny it,
But the selectmen 4 or 5 years ago, the neighbors were here.
That was specifically because of salt. So he has no salt
No,
on premises.
the neighbors were here for the lady, the nurse and her husband were here from noise for last week. Let's continue with the board. Mr. Chris? Comment.
I don't know, at the last meeting, it seemed like Veronica had mentioned that his business grew, and it seems it's maybe too big for the neighborhood. So I don't know, I don't know if it's detrimental to the neighborhood. It seems like it is, according to some of the other neighbors and residents.
Richard?
Nothing at this time.
I think it's detrimental all the way around. Anyone in the public want to comment on that matter? For or against? I don't know. You can, yes,
his hand's
come
come up.
forward, sir.
Anybody online putting their hand up? John,
Not at this time.
we got a,
Can we, Commissioner, let's hear from him while they say. Have a seat, ma'am. sir.
hang on a second, we want to hear from the...
Yeah, but sit down, sit
Sit
down.
down and relax. We're going to hear from you, but
Okay.
Go ahead, Paul.
I just want to bring to the board's attention, Article 5, Section 510.3, it's on home occupations. There shall be no external evidence of any business other than the permitted signs.
Correct. You have a warehouse without a permit, trucks, everything. Anyway, ma'am, your name for the record.
Charlene Nagel. I live at 309 Charge Pond Road.
Sir?
Ted Nagel, I live at 309 Charge Pond Road.
All right. What's your comments?
What I would like to say is my wife and I have been living at 309 Charge Pond Road for 37 years. This is going to be our forever home. We paid more for our house and was told the land was in a protected area. If we could have predicted what's going to happen, we would have never lived here. We would have moved elsewhere. We have too much money invested in our house right now to relocate. We're retired people, homeowners, trying to protect our property values, water, quality of life. The last 2 weeks, nothing has been resolved, which was suggested by the board last time we were here. The 4th of July, we had to listen to shrill backup beeper noise from 7 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is not pleasant, holiday or day off. We do hear this quite often, going on, different noises coming from out back. This is a business being run. One of the board members made a statement which I find a little offensive. He analogized it was like the Hatfields and McCoys. Well, there's nothing like this. We have done nothing to Joe Sergi. Nothing at all. If this variance is granted, I think it's going to enable other people to do the exact same thing. Build a building and then just stick it in your face and say, hey, what are you going to do about it? And this is what's basically what it's boiled down to. We feel we have rights also. That we moved into a residential area because we want to live in a residential area. Now it's just somebody's changing it. We're going to do what we want to do and that's it. You know, I just find it's offensive. We're just a couple homeowners trying to defend our quality of life in this illegally built business. You know, this is not supposed to happen. Please don't let this happen to us.
All right, very good.
Do you want to speak as well, ma'am?
Yes.
We have a long night, so if you could make it as short as possible, it'd be good.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
All right, the reason why I'm showing you those pictures is because according to his Facebook page, Joe Sergi installs pools, decks, sheds, accessory metal buildings. Attorney Morton stated at the last meeting that he has a business on a dead-end road, which is Charge Pond Road. Beside me is the drainage lot owned by the water department, and that's it. There's 309 and the drainage lot. Joe cut down trees and made a driveway and put hard pack down on water department property. Joe was told to remove the hard pack and replace vegetation by the water department, and I don't believe that was done. The water department blocked off access area with a couple of large boulders that leads to his backyard from Charge Pond Road. I feel like my house is an island surrounded by his business. Attorney Morton stated at the last meeting that Joe is storing tanning beds in his oversized metal building that was built without a permit that belongs to his tanning salon, Glow Tanning, which is on Toby Road. Mr. Sergi, if Mr. Sergi has another business, then claiming not being able to run a business out of his house is a financial hardship, which is insidious. He shouldn't invest in starting other businesses until he's running this one
If I may, point of
legally.
order. Can we,
For 1
through the
second.
chair, can we specifically talk about the actions and not the applicant? You know, this is getting a little
I
bit...
don't know, but
The character.
she probably doesn't understand how it really works, and I feel bad not
Yeah,
to
but I
let
can't
her.
have my client be sitting here, you know, listening to, it's
Ma'am, you gotta concentrate on the land. It's not about a person. The zoning is about a land. So concentrate on the,
or about myself. Thanks.
or the attorney, of course.
Okay, so I'll start off with, okay. The R-130 district is intended to preserve and protect groundwater and surface water resources. According to the May 22nd minutes, Attorney Morton made a statement that the zoning change to R-130 and service is not allowed. No zoning has ever changed as far as I know, and this is why we have established zoning districts in towns. My understanding is, in order to grant a variance, the board needs to find that due to something related to the shape or the soil conditions or the topography that affects Mr. Sergi's property but doesn't affect the rest of the zoning district would cause a hardship to him, and granting him a variance would not cause substantial detriment to the public good without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent of the purpose of the bylaw. I would like to remind the board that the oversized metal building was built last fall. The particular hearing has been going on since April 24th. Between continuances, this will make 5 times that we have been here at the meeting, and the decision keeps getting put off. There hasn't been any new information except from us. I would like to ask the board to please uphold the building commissioner's decision of the violation of Article 3, Table 320, instruct Mr. Sergi to remove the metal building within 30 days or face daily fines that he has avoided for over 6 months. I respectfully ask you to please deny the variance they are requesting, as neither the property nor the use satisfy the exceptions to the law that a variance should be granted to cure. That's it.
All right, very well. I think the board heard enough, everybody heard enough.
Okay.
I think we should close
Thank
that.
you. Is there anybody else that wanted to speak before we close?
Come forward, ma'am. Please. Be specific, please.
Very quickly. Thank you, Brenda Ekstrom. When I came up before to speak, you had said there were all the things that I was talking about you didn't want to bring up, which is fine. But the one thing, when we talked about the homeowners association, you said that's between them and the homeowners association. However, I just wanted to let the board, or remind the board, that this subdivision, the rights, reservations, and restrictions, which is the basis of the homeowners association, the only way they got granted to have this subdivision built was if they did that. So I don't know if you have seen that, but that is the stuff that we were referring to about the quietness, the peaceful.
I know
none of
they
that
have
stuff.
covenant, but the homeowner association gotta bring it in. They have to enforce it, the neighbor, that Sarah Beth.
But what I'm telling you is that this isn't a covenant with the homeowners. This is between the town, the planning board. I spoke to the town planner yesterday. This is between the town
Okay.
and the developer, that they agreed to this, and that's why it was built. So I have a copy of it
No,
here.
I believe you,
Okay, I'll
sometimes
just give
they
it
do
for
that.
the record.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, all right.
All right, I'll move to close the
Yeah.
public portion of this hearing.
Do you have a motion to
I'll
close?
second.
Second by Veronica. All in favor to close 10:24. Mr. Sergi, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Closed. What's the wishes?
So,
Either we're gonna uphold or overturn the commission. That's it.
we've been hearing a lot of talk about variances and special permits, et cetera. What was publicly advertised, and the reason we're here this evening and previous evenings, was because this is an appeal what was publicly advertised is an appeal of the building inspector notice of violation. So we're either upholding a notice of violation
Or overturning.
or overturning it. All the rest of this is all nice conversation, but I don't think it's been publicly noticed properly, and so therefore, I say we should be voting on whether or not we're upholding his notice of violation. And
I
that's it.
agree. Let's get it. Anybody want to make a motion? I agree with Jim.
I would move that there does appear to be a violation, and I would uphold his decision.
Okay, motion by Mr. Akabachi to uphold the decision of the building commissioner. Do
Just
I
a
have?
point of clarification, I'm not, just which letter? So the initial one was in January, and then there was one after in April.
Be the one in April, the second one.
But we
think we talked about
publicized,
that
you know,
earlier.
it changed. So I'm just, for
Are you talking-
procedural,
Letter authored by whom?
the building commissioner did an initial letter which said that it was a
Okay,
services.
my motion addresses the public
letter.
announcement, the reason we're here, and the public announcement that was published.
So the January letter.
Is an April 4th notice, and it's an appeal of building inspector notice of violation, per the requirements of Article 3, blah, 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 blah. So that's what we're here to vote upon.
That's right, April 4th. Okay, so Jim by, what?
My motion is that it appears to me there is a violation, and I move to uphold the building commissioner's decision.
Okay, motion by Jim. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Veronica. All in favor with the motion, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, Nazi, aye. It's upheld. Findings, the applicant did not demonstrate evidence to overturn the decision of the commissioner. If you have, okay, if you have the right to appeal it apparently within 20 days, according to chapter 70, section 17, after the clerk stamps the decision. Thank you. Next one. All right, we're gonna go to public hearings. Francis Reynolds, 23 Mildred Terrace, 28-24.
Good evening, Board. How are you?
Good.
I'm Frank Reynolds. I'm the
I know, but the public hearings, these were continued, so we gotta read them in, different process now, okay?
(2824) Francis Reynolds, correct?
This one, if you go online, it just also shows.
The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on July 10th, 2024, at 6:30 PM in Room 520 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 28-24 for a variance or variances from the requirements of Article 6, Section 628, and Article 13, Section 1355, 1356, 1357, and Section 1358, under the Wareham zoning bylaws, to Francis Reynolds of 125 Swifts Beach Road, Wareham, Mass., proposing to demolish all existing structures and rebuild two-story structure located at 23 Mildred Terrace, Wareham, Mass. This would appear on Wareham Assessors Map 50E-1, Lot 15, in the R30 zoning district.
All right, now name and address for the record and tell us what you're doing.
Hi, good evening, Board. Frank Reynolds. I live at 125 Swiss Beach Road, direct abutter, and I've lived there since early 2000. Kind of watched the property fall into significant disrepair over the last, 10 or 12, maybe 15 years. So recently, the property came up for sale, so I jumped on it. My goal is to take, as the application says, take down the property, reconstruct it. I'd like to improve a bit on the side setbacks and the front setbacks, but it's a existing non-conforming lot, as you folks know, and so therefore I'm here before you. I also, I brought some pictures, but I also brought along sort of this graphic, just because I thought it showed a little bit better what I'm trying to do, and I'm happy to circulate this around if that's helpful.
Do you have architectural plans?
I do. They were submitted with the building application, building permit.
No hard copies here?
Not with the zoning application.
You're supposed to.
Did I, Sonia? Yeah, I might have, yeah, sorry.
Hang on. It's not the very last thing on the,
I can't remember everything that was submitted, but yeah, it looks like it was.
Yeah, you got these.
Yeah.
Commissioner, just for the record, when I went online to research this, all I got on the webpage from the town was notification, abutters. I didn't see any of this, so, and this is the first I saw it. So I'm not ready to approve or anything till I look it over again.
All right.
Sorry, but I just couldn't find anything on the website.
Yeah, we need we have a list you have to follow. There's no tax bill here, nothing. We need one plan, 2x3 for the board.
That was all submitted. The
What
tax,
is it?
the tax bill, the abutters list, sent the certified notice.
Architecture plans,
That should be in there.
It's in here now. There's nothing on there.
is architecture plans online?
So I apologize, actually, Mr. Turner informed me today that I did not upload to the file. I apologize, Mr. Semple, I know you already looked. But the file should be complete.
It's all up to Richard. If he's not comfortable, we're not going forward.
Would you just entertain a 2-minute explanation? I understand you're going to likely extend it, but
1 minute.
we can listen to what he has to say.
Okay,
I understand.
but I'm just saying,
You feel like you're at a disadvantage.
I'd like to go by it.
I understand.
I'd like to go by the lot
Would you
myself.
like to listen, or we?
No, we can listen to him, that's
All right,
fine, but I
let's
just
hear
wanted
it.
to make it clear that this is the first I've seen it, so.
Yes, I
All
fully
right,
understand.
let's hear it.
I'd do the same thing.
Give us those, please.
So, just for your, this is the property.
Thank you.
That's fine.
Keep one for yourself. Let them share one and keep one for yourself. Good. You guys got one of these?
Not a problem. No, not a problem.
Get back online on the mic.
Use the mic.
What I tried to do is just kind of graphically show you in red the existing footprint outline, and then as I planned the building, I kind of built a 2-foot boundary. I want to at least have 2 feet or more, and you can see in all the hard lines of what I'm proposing to build, and you can sort of see that I'm trying to pull back away from my neighbors as much as I can, but obviously the geometry of the lot is a little funky, so you have to try to sneak it in there. I've spoken to, I would say, at least 6 of my neighbors. They're all in favor because, as you can see, those are familiar with the property, and Richard, from the photos, you can see it's dilapidated. It's uninhabitable as it sits right now, and it's certainly an eyesore to the neighborhood. There's no question on that. So my end plan is to put up a property there, and my son lives with me, and I'd like to give him sort of a leg up on getting a house because it's not very easy for a young person these days to own a property.
All right, very well. On this matter, he's an existing non-conforming. If the board feels not so detrimental to the neighborhood, we could act upon it as a special permit. On 1358, the commissioners,
So if we find
Okay,
it
it's pretty much-
detrimental, it would be a variance. If we don't find it detrimental, it would be a special permit. That's 1356, I believe.
right, but he also have floor area ratio. Was he in compliance before, Commissioner? Was he non-conforming prior? on FAR?
And my letter says the existing ratio was 21% and the proposed is 57.
What's happening, if I may, because I want to construct a two-story, even though the footprint is a bit smaller, the FAR ratio now becomes double, right? So even though the footprint's smaller and it's less impactful, the ratio.
Just so you understand, in Wareham's infinite wisdom, they consider every story of a building part of the lot.
Yes, yes.
It's not just the footprint.
I understand, yeah. And if I can just add, there's also two, and again, it's not considered, but there's also two shed structures on the property that won't be rebuilt, but that's not considered in the assessment of FAR for existing. So it's like all these improvements, but I'm at a disadvantage because of the situation. So.
Okay, while the board thinking, anybody on the public want to speak in favor of this matter? Favor? Okay, come forward, ma'am. You need your name and address for the record?
Donna Archibald, I'm at next door 19 Mildred Terrace.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a picture here of one of the sheds.
Yeah.
I live next door. This place is abominable. It's falling apart. It's an eyesore. I've lived next to it I've been there since 1997. I am definitely in favor of all these structures being taken down and a nice new house put up. He's planning on moving 2 feet away from my property, which I am, again, in favor of, obviously. This house is very close to me, and I would love this taken down. This place is a mess. I probably have other pictures of it. This is the fence in the backyard that he took. He used to go to the dump when we could go to the dump in Marion, and he would get all the old wood and old pipes and everything, and he would build on this house. He would build structures. He would build the inside of his house. This is the other shed on the property. This property is an eyesore. It's falling apart. It's a mess. It's a mess. And in fact, I wrote a letter to the board requesting that you find in favor of this.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else in favor or against? I hear none. It looks good to me. What do you think?
Looks all right.
But we definitely want our board member to go by, so we'll continue it, and we need some architecture plan. How's the house gonna look?
Commissioner, I'm looking this over and I'm seeing and I'm hearing, I'm pretty sure I've been by this house a couple times being in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
I used to live down there, so
you comfortable?
I'm comfortable with, I don't have to go out and look
All
at
right,
this.
very well. Even
Sorry
better.
about the
That's
injection
okay.
first, but I
Actually
just,
appreciate that.
All right.
that you-
All right, do you wanna make any more comment before we close?
The architectural plans are in the,
No, we might decide tonight.
Oh, okay. No
We
comment.
might, we'll see how the board feels.
No further comment.
All right, what's the board? What's the wishes? You wanna close, you wanna keep it open, what's the wishes?
So, unless anybody has a reason to object, I motion that we close the public portion of this hearing.
We'll see with the vote. Do I have a second?
Well, before we do that, I do have a question about the FAR, and that would require a variance because,
Well, we have a motion. Do I have a second on the motion before we go forward? If we have a second, we have to pull a vote. Any second on the motion to close?
oh, so,
We
okay.
can
'cause
still talk amongst ourselves.
If it doesn't pass,
If we don't want
we go
any
back.
input from anybody else other than the board members, okay.
Right. Motion to close. Do I have a second?
second.
Second by Rich. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Abstain.
Jimmy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself is aye. It's closed. Now, a motion with discussion.
Well, I'd like to have the discussion first, Jaren. What was?
Go ahead.
I just want to know about, so the variance and what are the houses around it in terms of FAR, rather than just, it's more than doubling, it sounds like, and we couldn't tell that because we don't actually have plans in front of us to look at.
Right.
We just
What's
have
the
a
average
flat
size?
thing.
Oh, we can't even discuss with you. We can't even discuss it with him no more. All right.
We shut you up.
Yeah, unless there's a motion, I believe, right?
No, we can't. Well, the best bet, we get 45 days to come up with decision. We can go look at it and look at the neighborhood and come back with the decision next time. How's that? Next hearing, we could vote.
Yeah, I'll turn your comment into a motion that I move that we vote on this matter at our next scheduled meeting.
Correct, and this way, he put the,
And then if we can get, I can look at the plans and get an
right,
idea.
we'll have the plans, please bring them to Sonia and download them, all that. Okay, very well. So can we, anything else, board? Can we make a motion to continue this until the 24th?
So moved.
So we have a motion by Jim to continue, that's Reynolds, right? 28-24 till July 24th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, aye. So on the 24, we'll see you here again. Make sure you send the architecture plan.
Perfect. If there's anything else I should bring.
Yeah, you should probably send some average size homes, like 5 houses total, 2 and 2 and 1 across.
Fantastic.
Pictures. I work better with crayons than I do with words. So photographs of existing,
Deal.
an elevation of what you're gonna build or something, if you're an architect, if he can give us
All right, 29-24, Stephen DeMello, 11 Merrill Street.
got anything to hand back
I
in?
just put that,
Both
I'm
of
gonna
us,
hold on to,
You're gonna hold on to
Yeah.
yours?
Yeah, we got out of here,
Yeah,
okay.
I just wanna get these in the folder. So that was, so we're doing 29, 24. Okay. The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on July 10th, 2024 at 6:30 PM in Room 520 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 29-24 for a special permit or a variance from the requirements of Article 6, Section 628, and Article 13, Sections 1352 and Section 1353, under the Wareham zoning bylaws, to Stephen Mello of 10 Lake Shore Drive, Attleboro, Mass., proposing to add dormers to raise the roof, new exterior including windows, and a new second-floor layout at the property located at 11 Myrtle Street, Wareham, Mass. This would appear on Wareham Assessors Map 2, lots 60C and 61B, in the Onset Village 2 zoning district.
Very well. Name and address, please.
Steve Mello, I'm the owner at 11 Myrtle.
All right, so want to tell us what are you doing?
Just want to add the dormers, give a little more headspace up on the second floor, and just rearranging the, moving the bathroom up there.
Keep that
And I'm gonna, renovating most of the property.
And renovating the rest of the property?
Yeah, kitchen, bathrooms.
All right, give us a minute. Renovating is not us, it's just the dormers. All right, he's an existing non-conforming, according to the commissioner. If we feel it's not so detrimental, we could act as a special permit. So let's look at the plan. While I'm looking, board questions, Troy,
No questions at this time.
Veronica.
I don't have any questions yet.
So I was fiddling with files, I want to make sure. You're just adding a dormer to an existing structure?
Correct. And then renovating it, you know what I mean? But yeah, just the only change would really be the dormers.
So the only way you're continuing a non-conforming use is just by going up a little higher with
Yeah,
it?
yep,
You're doing a shed dormer all across. That's why you mean.
across, yep.
Shed dormer, not dormers. You're just lifting the whole roof.
The whole roof, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, currently there are some dormers on there right now, you know, I'm just
So
basically...
what's the increase in the FAR and the setback, is that what it is?
He's not increasing that.
No, it's an increase in height.
Well,
The height, that's the only thing?
That's all. Yep.
yeah, the height, because he's over 5, yeah.
So what,
But the height is still under 35 feet.
He's increasing the nonconformity of the height inside the setback.
Ah, oh, okay, I get you.
It has nothing to do with the 30...
inside the, so the
Right.
setback?
It has nothing to do with the 35-foot building code.
Okay.
Don't talk, well, we'll let you know when you...
So I have a question about
Yeah.
this, because wasn't this something that came up when we were looking at onset and doing the racks, and that we had no say over height increases when it came to setbacks? That's what was
With the-
argued by the attorney
With the marina,
with the marina.
I don't recall how what was the case?
Because what I said was exactly this, is that you're increasing the nonconformity when you increase the height. But,
So you want to reopen the marina?
no, well, I want to make a point on that first.
Right, yeah,
Secondly,
I agree, I did.
should it even be in front of us, is my other question then? If
No, no.
that is actually true,
No.
what was argued,
No.
shouldn't be in front of us. Or,
Yes, absolutely.
okay.
We did
Racks,
agree.
absolutely
The
also.
attorney said it's not a, we said, yes, it needs a variance or special permit.
But then supposedly, he went to court and they said, come back to the board, and then the board capitulated. Why did we
I really
capitulate
don't,
if it's...
I can't recall that matter, to be honest. I don't know, I can't comment on that right now, but that's what we follow.
Okay, I just wanted to know whether or not this should actually be before us, so that just clarified that.
It
Okay.
should be for us. And like I said, if we don't feel so detrimental, we go as a variance.
So let's see if there's anybody from the neighborhood here yelling and screaming, no, no, no.
We will. Before we go, Rich, do you have a question?
No, not at this time.
Chrissy? No. And the public, anyone in favor of this matter? Anyone against? None.
So I have another question.
Yeah.
In terms of FAR for the commissioner, currently, what's the current pitch of the roof, and is it all already accessible? What's the point of dormers if that's all living space currently and it's not increasing the...
I believe it goes down to, say, like a 20-inch knee wall or so?
Yeah, it's definitely a knee wall, it's probably 30 inches, it's pretty low.
So it wouldn't increase the FAR by...
No, because the room is shaped like this.
Yeah.
So the floor area is already here. He's just lifting up the outside wall, the roof. So he's creating headroom at the outside of the wall. So the floor space is already there. It's not increasing. He's taking the small 2-foot knee wall on the outside and pushing that upwards and making the shed roof.
Usable space and living space is different.
That's what I'm asking.
Living space is above 5 feet. Usable, it's usable, so he's not increasing the usable. It still have that space.
He's increasing the usable.
No, he's
No,
not.
he's not increasing any space, not usable or livable.
He's increasing the cubic feet, maybe.
Yes.
That's a good yes.
Yeah, that's a good
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Cubic feet.
Veronica, if you look at the tax form, you can see the little tiny window on the second floor. I mean, that thing must be almost sitting on the floor. So all he's doing is just raising the roof to get more usable, the existing FAR. There's just a little tiny window, as you can see where they kind of snuck it in there.
Let's say he had a wall built in 5 feet in. Let's say he had a wall 5 feet, so he has more headroom. And this was like attic, now he's increasing, but it's open. And the proof, there's a window, like Rich said, so the usable space is there. Good?
Thank you.
All right. I don't know, if you're all good, let's close it.
I'll move to close the public portion of this hearing.
Do I have a second in Jim's motion?
Second?
Second. Before I go, you're not changing any footprint, right?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Second by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Richie?
Aye.
Myself, Nazir, aye. It's closed. What's the wishes?
I think I think we could grant this
As a special
as a
permit?
special permit. I move that we treat this as a special permit. I've heard no objections. Doesn't seem to be detrimental to the neighborhood. If anything, it's improving the neighborhood, so.
All right, for Jim's motion to act on it as a special permit, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Rich, all in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Myself, Nazir, aye. It's a special permit.
So now we're voting on. a
And the
special-
finding not I'm sorry, just the finding not substantially detrimental. All right, on the special permit, because she's writing the note.
I motion to grant a special permit to raise the roof as shown on the plans presented.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Hear none, do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Troy, all in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, Nazir, aye. It carries. Findings not substantially detrimental and standard condition. All right, very well. Thank you. You all set?
Thank you, I appreciate your time.
You're very well. Very welcome. 500, yes. All right. 30-24 HQV Homes LLC,
Pass those back down to me.
37 Pine Lake Drive.
$30.24. Who'd have thought it? The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on July 10, 2024 at 6:30 PM in Room 520 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 30-24 for a special permit from the requirements of Article 6, Section 628, and Article 13, Sections 1350 and Section 1352, under the Wareham zoning bylaws, to HQV Homes LLC, Inc. of 175 Wilbur Avenue, Swansea, Mass., proposing to remodel interior and exterior of the subject property located at 37 Pine Lake Drive, Wareham, Mass. This appears on Assessors Map 129B-5, Lot 19, in the R130 zoning district.
All right, name and address for the record, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Hui Nguyen. My address is 175 Wilbur Avenue, Swansea, Mass.
Okay, sir.
My name is Elias Vossos, and I'm the contractor.
Okay, so tell us what brings you here today.
So we bought this distressed property, roof collapse, rotted, pretty bad for the neighborhood. My contractor, he fell on the deck as he walked into the property on that first day. So, we're looking to improve the property, rebuild it from the inside out. And supposedly, the existing bathroom was rotted, so we refoundationed it. And the entrance to the front is through a porch stair. So we decided, using the same footprint, we'll square the building out. And so I guess that's considered an addition, so that's why we're here, and we're seeking special permits for all that.
All right, very well.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Are you changing the footprint at all?
No.
No, sir. We just square it out. It was used as a porch in the original plan, the stair to go into the door. So we added the foundation there, just, to make it a square.
There was an outdoor porch, and you're gonna make it inside the house.
Yes, yes, sir.
All right, where's your engineer plan for the proposed work, like the site plan for
I
proposed?
sent it to building inspector.
It's in there.
This?
Should be in your packet.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh, got that. So existing dwelling and existing deck. So you're not, they're gonna be the same exact what you're doing?
Yes, yeah.
Commissioner?
He infilled, if you look on the plan.
Huh?
He infilled the foundation. Follow the foundation around, the two front dark, in the two front corners towards, on the pond side, on the Pine Lake Drive side, the
Yeah.
driveway side.
He filled them?
He built foundations and built the rooms.
Oh, so apparently they weren't permitted.
There was a bathroom there, sir. I have photos that it was existing.
All right, so you proposing to rectify this issue by doing these with the permit? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
The 8 foot and the 7.2 feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
The work he performs is in the setback.
All right. Would they need they're an existing non-conforming, right?
Correct.
All right. So we have the same matter, I guess, here, according to the commissioner's letter, I guess.
Where's 37 Pine Lake Drive? I should know where that is.
It's on R-130.
Yep.
Where is
Up Glen Charlie Road where the old store used to be. And when you first go over the bridge and down on the right, it's,
Oh,
you
yeah,
go over
yeah,
the bridge,
yeah, okay.
it's the
I have
third
photo-
right, but Pine Lake Drive loops all the way around in.
Yep.
All right, so if the board feels not so detrimental under 1352, we could do a special permit.
I'll make a motion that this is not detrimental. to the
Right,
neighborhood.
let's see, anyone neighbors want to speak in favor or against this matter? None. All right. None. Okay.
I
Motion,
said the abutter list to everybody. Wasn't it?
somebody?
I said the abutter list to everybody.
Okay, good. So let's make a motion to close if that's the matter, unless you guys want to. So motion to
And I'll
close by Jim, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Veronica, all in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Myself, Nazir, aye. Okay, you
And
more,
then I'll make a motion that this is a,
not substantially detrimental, so it's a special permit.
I second that.
and treat it as.
Second by Jim, all in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, Nazir, aye. So the finding not substantially detrimental, Sonia. All right, now on the special permit. What's the motion, what's the wishes on the special permit?
You want a motion to grant?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
And the finding not substantially detrimental, standard condition. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It carries. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
board.
Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Okay, 500. 31-24. Where's the agenda? What's that doing here? What do I do with my agenda? Shaw. 11 Bridgeview Lane.
Did I pick it up? I'll put it in somebody's...
Is everybody here for Main Street, 59? Wow, what's all this?
So, you guys got something to hand back?
We gave it back
We did.
already.
You
so-
already gave it back, and you lost your agenda?
What's all the people here for?
Well, we'll find out. Sooner or later. So here, read off mine. No, it must have got filed.
That's okay, leave it me.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
I haven't got it out yet. Which one do we want? 31?
24.
It's in the agenda.
Amazing how that works, huh? Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on July 10, 2024, at 6:30 PM in Room 520 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 31 2023-24 for a major modification in accordance with Condition 8 to the previously approved special permit to Jeffrey M. Shaw, care of Bracken Engineering, Inc., of 49 Herring Pond Road, Buzzards Bay, Mass., for the property located at 11 Bridgeview Lane, Wareham, Mass. This appears on Assessors Map 5, Lot 1012 and 1013 in the R43 zoning district.
All right, name and address, sir?
Okay, thank you. My name's Don Bracken from Bracken Engineering out of Buzzards Bay. I'm here with Jeffrey Shaw, the owner and applicant of the project. Some of you may recall we were back here in May asking for this approval as a minor change, which the board considered it more of a major change, hence we're back here going through the public hearing process. We received a special permit back about a year ago to alter an existing non-conforming structure on the property. Currently, there are two dwellings, or at the time, there were two dwellings on the property, a main house and a small cottage in the back. The special permit was to construct a new foundation under the small cottage and rebuild the existing structure that was there. Building permit was applied for and received. Mr. Shaw started construction. He wasn't able to save any of the existing structure, so the entire structure was demolished as part of the process. Also, the foundation system for the structure was a crawl space that was below grade that wouldn't comply with the flood zone requirements. And so a stop order was issued in March, and that's when Mr. Shaw contacted us, and we came back in front of the board. We prepared a new site plan showing where that existing foundation existed in relationship to where the old foundation was. We found that the new foundation is slightly further away from the northern property line and slightly closer to the westerly property line where it abuts a 12-foot wide passageway. We can easily address the flood zone requirements for the foundation to comply with the building code and FEMA requirements. As shown on the plan, we're proposing to convert the existing crawl space foundation into a slab foundation by filling in the crawl space that's in the ground now and putting a slab over it that will comply with the flood zone requirements for that. So I think the bottom line is we think that the difference in the special permit from being a partial demolition to a full demolition, we don't feel that the project is going to be any more detrimental to the neighborhood than what was already approved by the board a year ago. So in your packets, we have the site plan, which I think shows most of this information in detail. I think that's it for the presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I think there may be some neighbors here that would like to speak on the project also.
All right, Commissioner, can you brief us quick? Because I don't have a letter here. I can't find your, what's the date? Do you have a?
I think it's been a long time, and
Yeah.
but
So what is it? Quick.
I believe it's what the engineer said, that the original approval was to rehab the building and put a new foundation under it. The applicant went and ended up tearing down the entire building, so when the inspector, George Stewart, went out and saw that it was completely demolished, he put a stop order on the project.
All right, and it requires a special permit?
Yes.
everything was permitted, but then they just decided instead of...
in there, the commissioner's letter?
I'm going to ask through the
Go ahead,
chair.
go
I'm gonna
ahead.
ask, so this is, when I come in from the Jefferson Shores Lights on Onset Avenue, and I go up and I start going around a corner, I take a left down into something that looks like a driveway, but it's really the street. And if everybody that lives there goes in one way and comes out the other way, nobody crashes into each other, but if one tries to go out the end, then somebody's got to back up. Is that the place? Correct. Okay. I'm a little familiar with the location now. I just wanted to get it in my head. So, yeah, this is, we saw that, we told them, yeah, go ahead, and then, like he said, they went to go ahead and, you know, they started digging the hole, and the hole kept getting bigger, so now there's nothing left. And they just want to do the exact same thing with a better foundation. Is that about the
Yeah,
short story of it?
in a new structure, correct, yep.
So that nothing's changed. We already approved what you're gonna do, what we didn't approve was what you're gonna do under it.
Yeah, that in a full demolition
Now
rather
you're
than
gonna
a
put a
partial.
foundation under it that
Yeah.
the commissioner has to bless before you can build on top of it. And it'll actually be a better job.
All right, anyone in the public want to speak in favor? In favor of this matter? Okay, well, can one of you sum it for everybody?
The decision is actually in the packet, if you were looking for that. The original in 2023.
The notice of decision, yeah, I got it. I
like
kinda
the-
remember it, but yeah.
Name and address for the record.
Paul Sullivan, 9 Bridgeview Lane.
Terry Velozzo, 20 Onset Avenue.
Okay.
We live right next to Jeff and Melanie, and I don't see why this project shouldn't be approved. I don't think anything's going to change from what happened before. If they backfill that foundation, put a slab on grade on top, build the house there. The house is in terrible disrepair. I'm not surprised it fell down when they were building it, to tell you the truth.
All right,
And,
thank you.
I think it'll be an improvement.
Thanks, ma'am.
And I live right behind, I'm the front house in front of Jeff and Melanie. And what they've done to that property, they've improved it. They're great neighbors, they're good people, they've got a lot of money invested in this.
You live right in front of them, behind them.
I'm on 20 Onset Avenue, so I'm in front, I guess.
They live behind you.
Yes, yes.
I got it, yeah.
But they're good people, they've done a lot to that property, and that's what we're looking for in this community.
Yes, thank you.
Somebody else, I see a lady in the back standing. Thank you for coming up, folks.
Okay.
We don't mean to rush you, but hurry up.
I'm Catherine Hull. I'm at 18 off Onset Avenue. I'm on the other side of his property, and so I'm another neighbor, and I'm totally in favor of this improvement, for sure.
You're on the side, you're not in front of him out in the water.
No, I'm on the
Okay.
side.
Okay.
She'd like to be in the water.
I'd love to be
There would be a houseboat there if you were, yeah, okay.
Right.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Anyone else?
Anybody opposing?
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
I was just curious, Jim, did you say Jefferson Shores?
Well, I call it the Jefferson Shores Lights. If you come in from...
Oh, okay.
It's not that, that's on Buttermilk
it's-
Bay. This is over on Butler's Cove.
It's the west end of
Come in from
Onset.
that light
No.
heading towards Onset.
I
you
just misunderstood. I thought
Yeah.
you were saying it was in Jefferson Shores. I
No,
know where it
You go across
is. I'm
the
looking
bridge,
at it.
one corner, then you come around to the next corner, and you wouldn't even know
I'm
this
just-
is down in there if you
I
didn't
guess I
look
was
there.
looking for clarification on what you meant, so.
Gotcha.
Thank you. No, I got it. I know where it is.
All right, what's the wishes of the board?
I'd like to close the public portion of this hearing.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Rich, all in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Now on the special permit, what's
I'd like
the...
to grant relief via a special permit and encourage them to move forward.
And,
Discussion, go ahead.
yeah, discussion. So they're gonna put it right back on the same slab, and is it
Right,
basically gonna...
refer to the plan.
Which I see, but I don't see what the building's gonna look like. Is it gonna be 3 stories now, or 1 story, or exactly what was there?
16, no more than 16 stories.
Yeah. It's one story. There's a quick view of what's going to be rebuilt.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
So, a motion, who wants to make a...
You want to move that it's a special permit separately?
It's a special permit.
That's what they asked for, so we don't have to move for, okay.
I think we asked for a modification in accordance with Condition 8, so I don't know if a new special permit needs to be issued or not, but that's up to you.
You need a
That's what we
special
asked
permit for the foundation.
Okay.
Basically to tear and rebuild,
All right.
you know?
My motion is to grant relief under whatever article they need it.
All right, motion to grant the special permit as requested. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Second by Troy, and let me see, we're gonna reference the plan by Donald Beckman, and it's 52324. You send that, you're gonna build it according to these plans on the site, the architects, yes.
Clarification, so granting special permit under Article 8, like I
Yes, per their request.
So granting special permit with the standard
In
condition.
accordance with Condition 8 of the previously approved special permit to
Okay.
Jeffrey M. Shaw, care of Bracken Engineering, Inc.
All right, so that's the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Troy? Aye. Veronica?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, aye. So, sign is just not detrimental neighborhood standard conditions. Very good. And that, refer to that plan, 52320. Thank you. You all set.
Thank you for your time.
32-24 VMB LLC, 3138 Cranberry Highway.
Did you guys, thank you.
Oh,
It's funny how the end of the meeting goes and...
hi there.
We've got to read it in, just, yeah. Give us a second, I want to get the old one put away. If we don't put these things away right, the person, the department court, the woman that, you know, does all the real work, she gets mad and then she makes it hard on us, you know? She puts things in the wrong folder and... You don't think that's true? Probably not.
Oh, you have favorite now.
32. Something about I don't get mad, I get even, I don't know. Okay, so... One, two, it looks like there's some of these. 1, 2, 3, everything's in fives and we got 6 now. I've been going without, but...
That's because,
That's because Christopher's here, I get it. I get it. But I got a big folder here that I can, but wait, folks, there's more. 2, maybe, yeah. 1, 2, 3. And Crocker Design Group. Okay. Stuff is all on the outside of the folder. Okay, I get it.
All right, Sonia is messing with us.
The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on July 10th, 2024, at 6:30 PM in Room 520 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 32-24 for a site plan review and a variance from the principal use requirements of Article 15, Section 1590, and Article 3, Table 320, under the Wareham zoning bylaws to VMB Properties LLC, care of Crocker Design Group LLC of 2 Sharp Street, Hingham, Mass., proposing changes to the parking lot and site at the property located at 3138 Cranberry Highway, Wareham, Mass. This appears on Assessors Map 7A1, Lot A and 14, in the Commercial Strip zoning district.
all right, name and address for the record?
Hi, David Newhall, Crocker Design Group, civil engineers for the property.
Okay.
Also with me is David Barry, the owner of the Town Tavern and Tap.
Want to tell us what you're doing?
Yeah, so the site had some site work done prior to us coming here. There was issued a temporary occupancy permit that was contingent on us filing an application for site plan review with the Zoning Board of Appeals. The main work out front on the building was the rework of the handicap accessible ramp to access the front door of the facility. The ramp used to go to the west, now it goes to the east. As part of that, the existing handicap spaces now became further away from the front door via the accessible route for the property. So the existing site currently has curb cuts, 2 of which are on Cranberry Highway to access the site. The proposal is to close one of those curb cuts and put 2 handicap spaces there because that's the closest route to the front door for the accessible route. Additionally, there's 2 existing parking spaces that are to the east of the building. We would like to make that into 1 handicap space, as that would be the next accessible route that was closest. And then there's the existing 3 handicap spaces on Cranberry Highway. We were going to retain, as the site, based off the number of parking spaces, needs 4 handicap parking spaces. The 3 handicap spaces that we're proposing are the closest accessible route, and then the 3 spaces as they exist, the first space of those 3 is the next closest accessible route for accessing the front door of the facility. So to have extra handicap spaces, we were keeping the additional 2 handicap spaces that were next to that 4th closest handicap, except the handicap space. As part of this, the 2 handicap spaces that we are proposing that would be in front of the building at the closest point, we're proposing them to be 8 feet wide instead of the 9.5 feet required by the zoning bylaws. This meets the requirement for ADA for the width of their handicap spaces, but just with the room of what we had out front to get what we can as close as possible, we need them to be narrower than the 9.5 feet. Additionally, we're proposing landscaping along the perimeter, along Cherokee Drive, and then along Cranberry Highway. There was landscaping previously there, and we're proposing to put that landscaping back. We've received peer review comments on Monday. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to address those ahead of this meeting, so we do have some comments that we're reviewing that we do need to address, so we want to just get everybody's feedback so we can come back comprehensively.
I'm gonna call Mr. Cordero, and let's go over with his comment. He'll explain what he suggests and what, comparing what you want. Phil, wanna come forward? All right, so I guess you've seen this. The questions that pop out for me quick, the curbing, the extension of the handicap parking lot, it makes that travel lane less than 13 feet, what the town allows. It says 14.4, but if you park the whole car, the corner of it, the kind of curbing you're gonna use, the landscape and architect drainage, has it been addressed? The kind of variances they need for that patio, if they're gonna build. Are you guys gonna build something on the patio? Yeah, so the variances, is the board wanna ask any question before Phil brief us? Go ahead.
Well, you're talking about a patio. Is this the area that was turned into a outdoor eating during the pandemic?
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's real close to that street that cuts through them? Okay. I just want to know, okay.
All right, let's hear it from Phil.
Sure. For the record, Phil Cordero from Allen and Major Associates. Mr. Chair, you hit on a number of the points that we contained within our letter for the applicant to review. We identified also the concern of the ADA spaces in front of the building. They're obviously of reduced width, but as the engineer pointed out, they do meet the Architectural Access Board code. They would also meet the federal ADA code at the narrower width, so they just don't meet the Wareham code. We also raised some concern relative to the drive aisle, but the bylaw does allow that. So there's certainly a concern to the narrowness of the drive aisle there, but it could be considered compliant with code based on the way they've laid it out. But as the chair pointed out, if there's any misparked cars, it will be a point of constriction that could be problematic. Under the site plan review guidance, we also identified a number of things that would ask them to add to their plans. Certainly some detail on the parking and circulation relative to fire apparatus, the drainage. There was no discussion on the on-site drainage, what is there, what's been maintained. We've asked for that additional detail to clarify that for the board. We also identified the area of the proposed patio along Chipperwood Drive. They're proposing stamped, either pavers or stamped patio. It was generally unclear what exactly was happening there. We've asked the applicant to provide some additional detail for the board to be able to weigh in on whether a variance is necessary. Most of the matters, I think, could be clerically addressed with some additional detail from Crocker Design Group, but we've asked them to provide that.
All right. Along the highway, I believe has to be granite, doesn't it? The curb?
The curbing within the layout is granite because it is within the state layout, but internal to the site, it could be
Bitumen.
preference, yes.
Yeah. The curb and the radius coming in has to be granite. That's the state rules and town rules. And along the other side, on town roads, can it be bituminous concrete or concrete? Do you know what the bylaw calls?
For the which curbing?
On Cherokee Drive.
I think they would not be required to put in vertical granite curbing. You could do bituminous curbing, I believe.
Bituminous, okay. So they could do paving, bituminous, all right. Any landscape and architect's plans?
They provided some landscaping in the form of improvements along Cranberry Highway, replacement of some trees, and then similarly along Cherokee Drive. It's certainly an improvement over what's out there today. We note, though, that a portion of what they're proposing to landscape is actually in the state highway layout, which they would need permission for that from the state to build, to install it.
Okay,
So they would need that under a DOT access permit.
right. Well, they need to go back to DOT now that they modified the entrance. It has to go back to the state.
They would need to go to the state to close the curb cut that they're
Right.
seeking. Yes, sir.
And then you could ask for permission. They'll let you plant. They won't have problem. You could plant, but you gotta ask them permission. You're gonna need a landscape and architect to do this. We have, like on our bylaw, it requires a landscape and architect. So are you a landscape and architect?
No.
You guys don't have anybody in the office?
No.
So you're gonna have to get somebody. I'm gonna start asking the board a question before we get into the patio and the setback and the variances required there. Troy, what do you have a question?
I have any questions?
Veronica?
I have questions about the arrows and the tightness right in front of there. You were commenting on being able to get through there when there's if there's a car parked out front or something. Is that going to be one way, as the arrows kind of seem to indicate, or?
It is one, oh,
Yeah, I know. It's one way, yeah.
it's one way from the main.
What's the bylaw calls for the space on a one-way, 13 feet?
13 feet. So they're providing that 13 feet because it would be one way.
And what's that 12 feet note? There's a 12 feet near that CCB.
In what location, Mr. Chair? I'm sorry.
The first handicap space.
That's 13.
It's 13, sir.
How many?
13 from the face of that curb nosing to the concrete ramp. They have it as 13.
Well,
Is that
on the
two-
plan,
One at a time, Jimmy, so we're confused. One second. Which plan, you have plan 5/30/24? Stamped 5/30/24?
I have plan dated May 7, 2024, revised June 10, 2024.
We have the wrong one. So because we have over here 12 feet,
So Veronica, you looking at those two arrows where it kind of seems like it goes both ways, but even though it says one way?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw those two arrows.
I agree, I'm a little confused on that.
let me hold it up so they can see it, all right?
I don't know how you can have two ways of 14 feet wide.
Put it in yellow, it's showing 12 feet.
That's the one before.
Yeah, that's an old plan that wasn't accepted.
All right. I think, Rich, do you have a question?
I was
Chris?
No questions.
I think the best thing to do right now, you have a 53G account, right?
Yep.
You're gonna start coordinating with the engineer and resolve issues. The issues you cannot agree on, it'll come to us. Drainage, we have no jurisdiction, that's DEP. On the variance, I wanna go, before we go to this issue, on the variance on the patio, what are you asking for a variance? Like, you need a variance for setbacks.
On the patio, we were proposing, because it was an existing patio, to just replace it in kind.
That
In
was
the same
proposing
footprint.
for when the pandemic was. I mean, that's sand right now. Yes, go ahead. Your name for the record.
David Barry.
Okay.
So initially, there was some miscommunication between the contractors and the commissioner's inspector. We've passed that now. There was initial conversations. We had dug that up. Everything was all cracked and everything. Our initial proposal was to put back a stamped concrete patio.
Okay.
When we purchased the property last year and we went in front of the select board, they approved us for a patio for outdoor dining and for service of alcohol outside. That's on our permit. After speaking with the commissioner, it was stated that that wasn't their jurisdiction to make that call for an outdoor patio. It was his department.
Correct.
So we, in turn, just put that on our application for the zoning board of appeals. to
All
s-
right. Are you putting a bar outside?
We propose to do so, yes.
Right, that becomes a zoning matter.
Right.
See, if it was just a patio,
Yep.
that's fine, but if you're proposing this, you're gonna have to meet setbacks
Yep.
or get variances. Now, the variances, between commercial and residential, well, definitely you don't have that. You need, I think, 40 feet. But the board were willing to work with you, and also on the road, like, people basically sitting on Chippewa Drive, so it's very, very close. So you're gonna,
Currently, right now, there's the highway Jersey barriers. What we had originally proposed, and I know Mr. Cadero also put that into his comments, is to define what we were using. We
Exactly.
were trying to do it as, I know asked the state itself too if there was a specific regulation.
That's a town road, that's not a state, so it's the
Yeah,
town.
no, I was just asking in reference to barriers, Jersey barriers for protection barriers. What we were trying to propose was doing a
Planters, concrete
planter,
planters.
a planter that has either the crushed stone or concrete at the base, and then being able to plant nice plants above them.
Well, this is what you gotta do. Right now, on the plans, you don't show a bar outside. You don't show, you just show them patio.
Yeah, we have, I can have David, obviously, we
Right,
can put
so
that on
you're
there.
gonna show the bar, and you're gonna show what you're doing between you and the neighbor for a buffer. The back house, do you own the house behind
I
it?
do, yes.
Yeah, okay. So it's still, and he owns it. You still have to need some kind of buffer, because you're gonna have.
Right now,
fence.
currently, there's what was existing at Lindsay's restaurant, which is about a, I don't know, 15-foot stockade fence, and then there's probably 15-foot arborvitae trees that are
Okay.
buffering between that
What-
as well.
What you gotta do, you gotta show them on the plan, and show what you're gonna do, show the bar, show the seating, and apparently it's gonna increase.
It's not, it was already proposed when we put in our initial application for the building permit, so it doesn't increase anything to do with the occupancy. The occupancy was already based off of the
Yeah,
66.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have enough parking.
Yeah.
But we just wanna know how many people you're increasing, that's all.
We do have that. I did turn that in when we put it into the commissioners for an application, but we can add
See,
that.
but
on
right
there.
now, it's gonna come all to us. It's gonna come with us.
Absolutely.
So like I said, the best route to go right now, coordinate with Mr. Cordero, and take the comments we talked about very seriously, landscape and architect, granite curbing, state curb cut. Mr. Cordero gonna study the parking lot properly and how the car sits and the handicap spots and the others. You guys gonna have to address the drainage with Mr. Cordero. And because you're revising the whole thing, okay, all right, and I guess that's what's coming to my mind right now. I'll ask the board if they have something else to add. Commissioner, you have something?
Not at this time.
All right.
Not crazy about that.
Right. Now, let me ask you something. If you do stem concrete, you gotta take in consideration, what are you gonna do with all that water when the rain comes? That's very important. You might need drainage manhole there.
There is,
Catch
the
basin.
main road itself has their,
You're not supposed to dump your water on the road. That's the town rules or the state. You gotta contain your own. It's pretty sandy there. You need to put small catch basin, it might work. So that's very important.
discuss, maybe get
You're
some
gonna have
feedback
to
from
discuss,
Phil and-
yeah, all stormwater management, we can't give variances on. So this has to comply. Well, everybody's thinking, I wanna go with the public, and anyone here in favor of this matter? In favor? Anyone against? Against? Come forward, please. Just sit down, state your name.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks, Phil. Phil, I want to see you before you leave tonight, please. Name and address for the
How you
record.
doing? Jason Meechin, 9 Arrowhead Drive.
Okay, so what are you against?
So, as far as this patio, I wanted to know about how many people are going to be outside, and what time it's going to be shut down, so a noise complaint doesn't happen later on in the future.
Right,
You know, just trying to get things resolved before they.
exactly. That's why they're here. So all these matters gonna come up.
Yes.
Now, the serving, I don't know if we could restrict time, the zone. I gotta check on it. I don't know if we have the jurisdiction to restrict the timing to sit outside. I know the selectmen can restrict
Right. So
the alcohol.
you know that, as you stated before, that area was designated for pandemic use.
I understand. You're right.
Okay. And there was, I believe, a time sanction on that as well.
Right. Well,
Okay.
now he's proposing to do this. It doesn't mean the board gives it to him.
I understand. But,
So,
you know.
let's see what he come up with plans, show it, show the seating, show what he's gonna do for buffer to accommodate to the neighbor and give us a good story. Maybe
That's
we'll
what I
go
want to
for
hear.
it.
I want to hear the full
Right, so
story.
because it's a variance, we don't have, it's not a variance. If, we definitely need a variance for setbacks. So if the board don't give it to him, he won't get it.
Yeah,
So,
and as
so
far
this is
as-
part of the process.
All right, and then the other thing was Chippewa Drive is, I kind of heard somebody saying it was a one-way on that. No, that's a two-way street on Chippewa.
No, sir.
Okay,
Dave,
all
you
right.
gotta talk to, you can't discuss it, it's
No,
illegal.
that's fine.
We're talking about his driveway inside the parking lot.
Gotcha,
All right.
okay. I was
We will
misunderstood about that.
definitely, we have concern about Chippewa Drive, about the noise, about the seating outside.
Yes.
The bar, all this, and again, this is what we're
That
gonna
that street
address.
is very narrow to begin with.
Right.
And it's unmaintained, you know, there's
Right, and we
potholes
don't
everywhere.
want people,
Right.
two bears walking in the street with a car popping out, so.
You got it, yeah.
All right, we definitely, now, we're gonna continue these public hearings, and you will not get a note on the mail.
just have
so-
to listen to when the date
so-
is going to be.
Right, and you'll come back if you
Gotcha.
wish. All right, thank
Right,
you.
Thank you.
Sir? Now, who else? Sir? Sir?
Whoever gets there first gets to
No, the
speak.
gentleman right there. Have a seat, state your name and address.
Richard Snagger, Lieutenant Fire Prevention, Onset Fire Department, 8 St. Pond Road. So one of the concerns I have with this is the patio area.
Are you here as a citizen or from the fire
From
department?
the fire department.
Okay, go ahead.
One of my concerns, or the fire department's concerns with this, is the FDC for the sprinkler system is on the Bravo Charlie corner of that building, which is where the patio is going.
Yeah.
The patio, depending upon the walls that are made from it and everything, depending upon what the walls are made out of, may restrict access to that FDC, so we will not be able to pump the sprinkler system, or we may have some sort of obstruction. Also, I request that you have them provide a swath path analysis for our apparatus in the tight areas with the closure of the
Right.
curb cut
Well,
and everything like that.
that's part of the process. Yeah, this is one of the things, you gotta show the hydrant there. I don't see it.
It's not a hydrant, it's an FDC, it's a fire department connection, so
Oh,
it's just.
on the
it's
building?
On the building.
Oh, to
exactly.
connect the way, yeah. So these are these things, this is absolute, did you get signed in the department?
I have
get
not
that?
received anything. I'm just going on what I'm hearing.
It's
here.
online, you guys,
Yep.
you should see online, when she posts it, all the department sees it.
I didn't get anything. I haven't gotten anything. You might have sent it to my
All right.
chief, actually. Okay.
All right, Phil, so all of you are gonna have to coordinate, very important with the fire department. So, thank you, Chief, Captain, Lieutenant, I don't know. All right, who else? Yes, sir.
Rob Perry, 10 Chippewa Drive. We live
Yeah.
right there, right behind the parking lot there. Just want to kind of touch base on what Jason was kind of talking about. That road, Chippewa Drive, is real narrow where the parking spot is and where the patio wants to go in. Many times I've turned onto that road, and there's been cars parked pretty much on the street. You got to go around. It's real narrow there. I'd be real concerned about public safety coming in and out, crossing the street. That's
Again, this is the part of the process, so.
just kind of wanted to touch base. And
Definitely,
just,
absolutely. Thank you.
right.
Who else? Ma'am? That's what that is.
My name is Becca Britt, and I live at 15 Chippewa. It's at the corner of Chippewa and Comstock.
Yeah.
And we've watched this whole thing getting built. I mean, we were really impressed. We both have backgrounds in construction, and we have been really impressed. They did a great job on the restaurant, the house, the whole thing.
Definitely.
Now, here's it may sound laughable, but you're worried about drainage. All you have to do is, the potholes in the street there are big enough to take care of all the drainage. Believe me. I mean, they're like this. And you're worried about, people shouldn't be parking on the street there, but that's not the restaurant's problem. Those are the
Right.
people that live there. They don't pull in their driveways. They park on the street.
Right.
And that's behind the restaurant. You go around, and it goes around the corner. Okay? So that's out of the jurisdiction, really, of the restaurant. But both the entrance streets from Cranberry Highway on both sides of this restaurant have got potholes that if the fire department is,
Potholes in the street or in the parking lot?
in the street,
Oh, okay.
which is going to affect them, but also affects the fire department. The potholes are this big.
You gotta go
They're
to
this deep.
selectmen meeting and complain. We can't do
Yeah.
nothing about it. I understand, but you gotta go
So-
selectmen and
Yeah,
complain.
you need to take care of that. Not just for
We're
them.
zoning, we pick zones, we don't. fix
I wish.
We can't.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. The maintenance department never answers the phone, never comes out. Does he exist, or is he a phantom?
Who's that?
The road maintenance,
Oh, road maintenance.
okay?
That broke, to be honest with you. All right, so, sir,
David Rooney, 30 Tomahawk.
yeah.
My thing is with you, when you do
Sir,
it...
you ask us a question, you can't ask him.
Oh, okay.
It'll go out of hand.
Vegetation that they put out on the egress going into Cranberry Highway below. Sherry Lindsay, when she put it in, did a very good job, and then it got carried away a little bit. When you pulled out where Mayflower Liquors is, you couldn't see pulling out. Now with the new light patterns, all of a sudden you got nobody on the road, and then you got a whole bunch of people on the road. And the other, when you do Chippewa coming out there, now and then you get a big SUV parked on the left side. You get the rock on the right, that's a landmark there, but on the left side, and you're in a car, you can't see out, so it's kind of, if you can plan around just for visual, for in and out, for egress, is the big thing.
This is why they need a landscape and architect.
Yeah, to
They
find
know
out.
not to put for safety height for the highway. So again, part of the process, we'll get to this with few
yeah.
hearings.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else? Yes, ma'am.
Dottie Major, I live at 40 Chippewa Drive, and I just want to reiterate with the traffic going in and out of that road on Chippewa, there's some kind of pump truck that is always there pumping something out of the restaurant. You can't get by. So once I come off the highway, they used to be able to pull into that parking lot before it was a patio, and it was off the road, and now that is in the road, and once you pull in there, there's nowhere to go.
How many times a week you see the truck?
Once a month.
Yeah, that's what I was just
They
going to say. I
pump
think it
oil.
was probably once a
It's
month.
my grease trap. I make sure in all my restaurants, I do it once
Yeah.
a month.
And then where the handicap parking is on the left-hand side, there's an empty space. There are always cars parked there, so you have to go around those, plus the property that's owned right next to it, which I believe is owned by them. The trees are in the street, so when you put the pump truck there, you put a parked car there, and you put the bushes there, there's no way, once you are committed to coming off that highway, there's nowhere to go.
All right, again, we're gonna see what the engineers come out to and with the discussion back and forth. But thank you for your comments. We'll take all this into consideration. Who else? In favor or against?
John, do you have anybody online? No hands up?
All right, so you heard it all. The truck, I mean, you pumping, what do you call it, grease trap, it is what it is, but the patio, you gotta really study this and what you're really gonna do with it. And everything else, you gotta coordinate with Mr. Cordero to see where we at. And like I said, if you don't agree of parking, number of shrubs, all this is we could solve. Like the board has jurisdiction to do this.
We
But
took down the ones on the street when we first did
yeah,
it,
but
so.
he's
we'll
gonna
we'll
go
work
by
with
the,
somebody.
Mr. Cordero will go by the book.
Yeah.
And then you guys will ask us if we could waive this or waive that. And like I said, drainage will not, it won't be waived. What's that?
I'm waiting for you to finish because I got questions, but.
Go ahead.
So my first question is, you bought the property, you've got the house next door with all the parking surrounding it. You own that house?
I do.
Okay. So it's all, and it's, I want to go on record that I'm gonna do everything I can to oppose that patio. So I don't want you to spend a lot of money on engineering, because you've already got one nay. I just hate to see people spend money on the wrong thing. I don't think that belongs there. I understand it was granted during the pandemic. The town of Wareham was good to the Lindsays because they were, here forever. They were here, for a long time. The pandemic came, they tried to keep them open, let them make some money. I can't vote in favor of that patio in any form. So, just so you know, the rest of the board may be for it, and they may think it's a great idea. I'm familiar with the neighborhood, I'm familiar with the operation. I've heard good reports about your initial operation. When this was Lindsay's way back, if you look at the old postcards, and they had the small thing, then they had a little building out front, and they'd pull up out front and they'd order their fried clams in one building, and the men would walk over to the other building and sit on the 6 stools and get their alcoholic beverages in a whole separate building. You could take that house that's at that other parking lot, extend your liquor license over there, improve your parking, have a very safe street, and if you want to have an outdoor patio, instead of collecting whatever the rent is on that house, sell, have a, I don't know, whatever you want to do in that patio, do it out of that house. I know it wouldn't be as easy, but it would be a lot more acceptable to me. The rest of the board may think I'm a nut. That's okay. You need one nut on every board anyway.
Well,
But that's
on that
just so you
comment,
know.
on that comment, definitely you will need a site plan if you do that. Just keep in mind, and you gotta ask the selectmen if they'll give you, that becomes 2 location.
For what?
The
Oh,
comment
what,
can-
his comment?
the
I've
site
already
plan-
asked the select board and they said no.
Yeah, it's
They
2
said no.
locations.
Yeah,
That-
it's-
that you need
Because it's a
site-
different address. It's
Right.
not 3138, it's a
Exactly.
completely different address.
Yeah, that's what I said, what I meant. So you heard it all, so let's go back to the board. Chris, any comments before we send gentlemen away?
No comments.
Richard,
No comment.
Jimmy, Veronica?
I think we've heard a lot from the neighbors regarding that Chippewa and issues with parking and access, and the patio's pretty tight. Makes it difficult,
Troy?
I think.
I don't have
Also, the board would like to see like a strip line for safety to cross the parking lots. When people park here, like maybe dotted line in the street, but you gotta ask the town if they let you put it, I don't know. I would
We
like
didn't,
to see
yeah,
that.
we didn't touch it because it was a street, so it wasn't ours.
It'd be nice, the people driving, they always pay attention, there's a stripe there, people might be
We
crossing.
wanted to put up a sign at the very end of it as well, but I don't know what department that would be.
A sign for where?
After you come down the one-way, putting up a one-way sign on one side and then another one on the other
You
side.
can
to
in your
stop.
parking lot, in your parking, you
Do I
can.
need to apply for any sort of
No,
permitting?
No, it
I
would
wanted
be,
to put a one-way on the very end with,
in your parking, you can, it's
and then a
probably,
stop at the Chippewa side.
right, Mr. Cordero probably gonna make you do that.
I wanted to do that anyway, so.
Right. So, all right, that being said, how much time you guys need to come back? You gonna coordinate with the engineer, fix your plans,
Yeah,
think carefully about the patio, what Jim said.
I believe you mentioned you were out for both of the August meetings
Right.
as well, so it probably makes,
Board can come here, if you have update, you could come. I mean, you don't have to, you could wait for a vote for the after hearing, but more information you bring, Chris can sit in my seat and listen.
okay.
We'd have 5 members for you.
Yep.
You just won't have him. but
Right.
He can review the tape. when-
After, and come back
Okay,
in.
I think probably makes sense for the first meeting in August then.
All right, for
a
August
month from
14th.
today.
Okay,
two
for
weeks
everybody here,
prior?
next hearing, August 14, if the board votes yes.
Motion to
Okay.
continue to August 14th.
So we have a motion by Jim to continue 32-24 VMB LLC, 3138 Cranberry Highway to August 14, 2024. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Rich, all in favor, say aye. Troy? Aye. Veronica?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, Nazir, aye. So August 14.
And you like materials 2 weeks prior, correct?
Yeah, it's gotta be, yeah. So, and just the 26th, on the 24th, you gotta have, all right, brother. All right, so what's
I guess that's
32,
why there was a
24?
lot of people here. But we've still got one more, and it doesn't even look like there's anybody here for it.
I think Mr. Madden's out in the hallway.
He's out in the hallway?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Okay.
Put this back together.
Somebody has to be last. At least he was participating a little bit earlier, so he's not entirely bored.
Is this,
All right, 33-24, Warren. Warren QOZB LLC, variance, 59 Main Street. Hey, Danny. How are you?
you got stuff from the last one, right?
Oh, yes. This
That's
one
all
here.
right. Is this it too, or is this?
That's it too.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
These I don't know. That's third one.
Not gonna happen. I just figured why not throwing it up front and waste your money. 'Cause if it's up to me, you ain't getting it. And I don't think Veronica's, Veronica didn't sound real warm and fuzzy on it either. She already made it. That was pretty good. Over on this next one, is this, oh, this needs to be read in. I am 3324. Sorry, I'm so familiar with the thing that I didn't even think it was a new one. Sorry, Danny. We're gonna wait for we're not gonna wait for Richard. That's all right, don't be sorry. Be comfortable.
You're that one.
Whole bunch of peppermentos over there.
Let's hear it, Jimmy.
What's that?
You did.
You ready to hear it? Okay. The zoning board of appeals will hold a public hearing on July 10, 2024, at 6:30 PM in room 520 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 33-24 for a variance from, or variances from the requirements of Article 6, Section 625 of 266 Main Street, Wareham, Mass., proposing a dumpster pad with enclosure located at 59 Main Street, Wareham, Mass. This will appear on Assessors Map 47, Lot 1124, Lot 1125, and 1126 in the Wareham Village 1 zoning district. Go ahead, sir.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm Bill Madden from GAF Engineering. Here on behalf of the applicant, we're seeking a variance for a dumpster pad location with enclosure that falls within a side yard setback and landscape buffer, and also falls within the front yard setback of the site. So it's a 9 by 30 enclosure for the dumpsters for the restaurant, and that's pretty much what we're seeking on that one. You know, the building is approximately 12 feet in height. The back of the building faces the parking lot on the British Landing side of things. And, you know, I know that in the landscape rules and regulations, there's alternatives that can be applied with respect to plant material and fencing and berms and things of that nature. Originally, the plan indicated a pretty substantial, well, it does indicate a pretty substantial landscape berm and buffer on that I'll call it the southerly side of the property, facing British Landing, and now we're interrupting that landscape buffer with the 30-foot length of the building. And I'm thinking that as part of that building, you know, if one were to, you know, if we were seeking to place a fence there along those lines, this back side of the building, I don't know, can it be perceived as similar in nature to a fence? It has a salt box shaped roof on the building. The longer slope of that salt box faces the restaurant side of things. The short side faces the British Landing side. So there's a band of roof shingles that would be exposed on the British Landing side. Also, as far as there's a little bit of drainage that'll come off the roof, we just put a small stone trench at the rear of the dumpster enclosure, not only because, but we retained 3 feet to provide at least enough room to accommodate the roof runoff. And that's pretty much it.
All right, so bottom line, it's a variance for setback and because it's in front of the building.
Yes.
Right. Side setback, the side.
The side yard setback is in the landscape buffer and in the 20-foot side yard setback distance in that.
Right.
Building occupies half of it.
All right, okay, Troy, do you have a question on that? Veronica,
Yes, I have a question.
go ahead.
I do. Why is it set so far back and not, you know, maybe a little closer to the tar that's there? It looks like there's quite a bit of room between there, although there are a lot of lines on the.
Oh, that's on the building, that's concrete area between the shaded area in the dumpster pad, so that's concrete.
That's concrete?
Yes. So that's there to service as part of the service entrance at the back of at the side of the building.
Bigger, yeah.
Okay.
You all set, Ronnie?
Yeah.
Jimmy?
I've been following this thing since before they started building, where the shed was prior, where it was removed, where it was replaced to. I think this is a good plan. I don't think it really deserves a lot of, we don't need to beat this thing to death. I'm in favor of this.
Tracy?
Where was the original concrete, original dumpster location on the original plans? I was just curious.
It was probably, I'd have to look on the plan, but I want to say that it was outside of the landscape buffer, closer to, on that concrete area, and it would be...
It was 11 feet from the property line, now it's 3 feet from the
11
property
feet from
line.
the corner of the building, exactly. So there's the landscape on this plan right here, so it was slid over there, so it just followed the edge of the landscape up. The back of it was over there. So there was only 11 feet from this corner of the building
Okay.
back up to the rear loading door. And I think when we were at the planning board, there was a little bit of discussion that went on about perhaps trying to increase that distance so that it wasn't as tight for people to back up. We know we had truck drivers down there back up in that narrow space, and while admitting it was tight, a skilled driver was able to accommodate it, but we don't always get skilled drivers.
So you answered my question. That's what I wanted to know, why, because I was saying why, by answering the question that Chris just asked, you answered what I wanted to know why you were moving it.
Okay.
So thank you.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Richie?
I'm good.
All right, on public, anyone against or in favor? Anybody
Anybody
online?
online?
You got one person online and they're just watching.
Just watching, no hand raised?
I think I know who they are.
You know who they are? Well, if you don't have any questions,
I
I
don't.
make a motion to close the public portion of this hearing.
You want to add anything before we close?
I don't think so. I think that sums it up for us.
All right, motion to close by Jimmy. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Rich. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, aye.
I move to grant relief as requested with a special permit.
Variance.
Variance, sorry.
Okay, we have a motion to grant the variance. According, it does have hardship, it meets statutory requirement of MGL 40, section 10 for a variance. So, do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Second by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jimmy?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It carries. Just say meets statutory requirement of MGL 48, section 10, okay? All right, very good.
Thank you very much for your
All
time.
set.
Much appreciated.
Aren't you glad you sat out in the hall all night just waiting for
I
that?
don't know. I think I might have missed a couple of interesting discussions.
How could you,
But so did you guys.
thank you very much.
Bill, would you like a pimento too? Would you like one?
Night.
See, I can't give them away. Nazi walks around throwing them to everybody. Acts like he's the owner of those, and I was just stealing them.
All right, guys.
Another one down here.
Coming
Let's,
at you, kid.
Make a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Motion by Jim to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy. All in
Hey,
favor, say aye. Troy?
Can I,
Yeah.
real quick? I was just curious, the Brown Street telephone tower. There was conditions put on that, and I've been going by, I didn't see any arborvitaes or anything planted there since they took the crane and extended it 10 feet and got what they wanted, so I'm just wondering if these are another people that just think, oh, we got it and we don't have to do nothing.
Okay. Yeah. The tower and Damien's Pantry. We need to send them a letter. I don't think the landscaping is done.
Is that Sonia or is that Paul?
No, Sonia, that's for zoning.
Okay. I thought
They,
you were the enforcement officer.
maybe have Phil contact them, get in touch with them.
Are these for like followed up inspection?
Yeah,
So I spoke to Ken about that, and he said it should be coming from the building.
no.
Because they're out of our here.
They what?
They're out of my here. We've closed the public hearing, very short.
I know, but they should have had periodic inspection. It's on them. That's why they had 53. No, that's not Paul. They supposed to do inspections as they go. We don't have to, it's not our job to chase them. Huh? No, it's their job. All right, you know what? I need the information. Really and truly, we could make them dig the parking lot, say, we want to see the drainage. So we're trying to be nice.
Who's supposed to be following up with, like, I don't know what phase they're at. Like, how
They're done.
responsibility to be following up with.
So here's the gig.
Can I add you on the mic at all, please?
I believe, no, we're not,
Hold back and forth at this point, nobody
All
can
right,
hear you.
all right, all right.
we're not adjourned.
All what I need from you, name, contact name, and add, and as well as the tower, I'll have Phil call him. How's that? Make your life easy. Is that good enough?
Well,
all right.
I think there's, I'm not taking sides here, I'm on Sonia's side. I believe, somebody tell me I'm wrong, the commissioner is the enforcement officer. Once we make a decision, it's done, it's in the books. Now, the enforcement officer, you read our bylaws, is the building commissioner.
No. When we do his enforcement officer, if they violate with the building, when they do in the building, when we do a site plan, that's not his job or his enforcement. When drainage, all this, they're supposed to have a 53G account and call for inspection. Did you guys get one from Phil for Popeye? Everybody got with pictures and stuff. This is what's supposed to be. When you dug the hole, you call for inspection. I'm
So
doing it
where
on
does the
Main
buck
Street. I
stop?
called Phil, he came to look at the sewer pipe, he looked at the stone, we take pictures. And these people went and built it without calling once. It doesn't work this way.
But where does the buck stop? Who is responsible?
Them.
Yes,
the
but if they
developer.
don't do it, who's responsible to make sure they do it?
Well,
We
this,
shut 'em down.
herein
We
lies,
pulled their permit.
herein lies the problem with permits that aren't closed out, and then the homeowner finds out years down the road. So there needs to be some kind of, the town collects a fee to do something, but then it just runs out and it's his fault.
No.
But the property owners are the taxpayers,
Right, no.
deserve not to be blindsided.
Correct, but let me explain how this is different than town inspection. They opened 53G account. When Charlie left and Alan Major came in, there was a little chaos. We understand, have a good night, Paul. And then when he came, so when there was the transfer, there was a problem. And things went out of hand with inspection during the site, but that's not the commissioner's problem. It's the contractor's problem to call for the town engineer, get inspection, town engineer makes a report, just like he did for Popeyes, for all of us. And at the end, we look at the reports, all done, we agree. Now, we're not being hard on them. We could really say, redig the parking lot and show us the drainage. We're not doing this, but from now on, now that Alan Major taken over, they're doing the inspection properly. I mean, they call in, we following up, we made a list for all the projects, me and Sonia and Phil, and from now on, we insist that no occupancy permit issued until all these reports are in. Put the microphone on you.
But to my point, I guess,
Yeah.
and maybe I'm wrong, but isn't it the applicant's responsibility? Because they have to be pulling permits, correct? So
What permits? No, you don't pull a permit for site plan. He pulled it here, that when they go start digging.
So
the
done,
building
they
has
get
land
their
to-
permit here, done, they don't have to go back to building?
That's for building. I'm talking about site, landscaping, drainage, lighting, outside. And the building is completely different.
Right, but how are we supposed to know what phase they're at in order to keep
They supposed
asking?
to, this is their job, the developer should know.
And then you also have to keep in mind, when we initially established those 53G accounts, we get a cost estimate, as you know.
Yeah,
It doesn't last. So my concern, and this is why Phil and I, we know to keep that open communication, especially with some of these are goes back to Charlie's time. So we can't keep asking these people to go out there without any funds in the account.
right. When the funds are stopped, you pick up the phone, you tell them we shut the job, or you bring money, end the story.
Do you know how hard it is to keep
You know what?
track of these accounts or track of these projects
Well,
that...
we have
Okay,
to keep
you
sending
know what?
him out there?
We'll make him tear the parking lot. This is their job. This is the responsibility of the contractor to know he has to call for inspection. If they don't know and we're gonna have to chase them, you know what? We won't let them have an occupancy permit.
So Sonia, it sounds like that there is no database with active site plan reviews?
No,
Because
we
if you-
have, like, I have an Excel spreadsheet where I track all of my projects by, name, type, address, but, like, for instance, how am I supposed to remember, like, oh, Damien,
You're not
like,
supposed
let me
to.
follow up Damien's pantry, like, I don't know what, once it's out of here, like, up until just recently, in conversation with the chair, that, like, oh, let's follow up on this, like, how am I supposed to know where they're at in the process?
You're not supposed to. This is, all right, let's make it easy for everybody. You guys understand it different. If I'm building a house, I'm a contractor, don't I know I have to call for installation, for framing, right or wrong? Do I go finish the house and call for final inspection?
But if you don't, the building commissioner can
Make
go
you
to
tear it
your
down.
house and say,
Tear it down, I want to inspect
exactly.
it.
You're
So
going for
we're
an
saying who
occupancy
does
permit.
Right, but in this matter, this is our jurisdiction. We could say, rip the ground down, we want to see the drainage. Same thing,
the
so the
engineers-
bottom line, same like a contractor building a house, knows the steps, how to call for inspection, for plumbing, electrical, all these things. Whoever doing the site, and these are expensive sites, so they should know, they should call for periodic inspection.
So, like Target, Walmart, I mean, they're obviously, historic projects, so in other words, we should have Phil.
No, these are already inspected back in the day. These are done. I'm talking the.
so is there a time limit for these site plan reviews to be completed? When we give a zoning permit for something.
Right.
Just like when the building inspector gives a permit
Right.
for a building, there's a certain date that it's supposed to be done by.
No, as long as you're doing due diligence
there is
and
a
work,
date. It's 180 days, and if you've gone past that, it closes.
if you don't do anything. But once you
correct.
start working and you're
You
doing,
can request an extension.
no, it keeps open. The building permit stays open.
I understood. You had a certain time limit to get started,
Yes.
and then after that,
My question is,
I
what
haven't
is-
heard anything.
What is the time frame for a site review, if you will, or time that an inspection needs to be done? I mean, it can't be forever they can keep a site plan open and not have it closed. So if we actually had a date where we said, okay, this is what you have to do to the site to meet your permit, then we would actually have a concrete date that we could keep track of to say, hey, this date has come and you have not had anything happen.
Now it's time for inspection.
Exactly.
Well, that's my point of this whole thing. Like, there needs to
Even
be
with the-
somebody, you can't just, I know the state of Massachusetts wants a permit to fix a light bulb, but it's not the homeowner or anybody's fault other than the GC to call. And if they don't call, what happens?
Yes, you're right.
This happens.
Yeah.
This happens to the public, this happens to everybody. And what, as a donating time to be on this board, am I supposed to go out and police now? Am I supposed to call on Brown Street saying, hey, I don't see the arborvitae because we did it? There needs to be some kind of route that's followed.
We called the permit
because-
off. We
Because
can call the permit off.
When I went into the building inspector's, the zoning's office, he showed me contractors and how many open permits they had.
For
But he says,
houses.
but he, no, for all this, like hot water and heaters.
Right, yeah, plumbing,
How
electrical.
come you can't, and he said he can't deny them. But if you're not doing your job and canceling these things out, it sounds like you're not doing your job. So how can you open more permits? That's what I'm, that's why I see that there's some kind of problem here that I think that
I don't wanna
with this
get- listen.
discussion and anybody out in the public that would like to maybe add to it, but let's
Listen,
just
we
find
could-
an
we
answer.
put- We put an apple and
Right, we're
oranges.
talking about site plan
We're-
reviews.
Excuse me.
But
Let-
it's all the same thing. How do we keep track of it? We're not.
Listen, let building deal with building. We're not gonna deal with building permits. Let's not even talk about them, bring them up, none of our business. The open, close, I understand what you're saying, but that's not our problem. Our problem, site plan. Site plan, just like a general contractor, like I said, knows how to build a house and call for a thing, for inspection. The contractor is doing the site, knows better. Every town, I've done jobs in a lot of towns, every town requires inspection, every town.
So,
If they don't, we're gonna call back the permit. We're gonna reach out for the Damien pantry and the tower. We're gonna have Phil reach out. They don't answer, we call the permit out in here, and we revisit the permit, and we could pull it out.
So do we need a zoning law that puts a limit on the time so that we can actively do this and keep track of these things? That's the question.
No, listen, again, the law says you have a permit, you have 6 months to start. If you start within the 6 months and you're working constantly, slow, but you are working, and you don't shut the job for 6 months period, you have the right to keep doing it.
And that's fine.
Right.
But 6 months is a limit that's set. Site plan has 0 limit. That's what I'm saying. What is the limit for site plan, and do we need to have a bylaw that enacts a limit similar to the
Site
building?
plan, when we give a site plan permit, they have 2 years to start it. To start it, and they don't have to start it. They don't have to start the project. A variance, they have a year. Site plan, special
but then when
permit.
they're done, they have to get an occupancy permit.
Right, when they start, and if they continuously working without stopping 6 months period, you can't, it's legit.
But we're talking about, we granted permission for them to put the tower,
Right.
subject to them planting
The
a rose
arborvitae,
bush.
right.
Arborvitae, okay. So, they put up the tower. What did we grant them? We granted them
A tower with arborvitae.
a tower with arborvitae.
I believe, I didn't read the decision, okay.
Well, so, that's done. So they did the tower, but they didn't do the arborvitae.
Right.
So they've got a violation. Who issues a notice
All
of
right,
violation?
from now on, I just talked to the commissioner yesterday.
Yeah.
Any site plan review, any site plan, projects like the restaurant, projects like I'm doing on Main Street, the projects, the tower, any site plan, do not issue occupancy until you get a clean bill of health from us. So what they're gonna do, make an as-built, Mr. Cordero review it, he gives clean bill of health, he did his inspection, they come to us, we say, okay, just like we did with the housing thing, that, what's the name of it? That big thing.
Woodland Cove?
Yeah, so we say, okay, you're good to go for your occupancy. So this is a standard right now, so we get into it.
So how do you occupy a cell tower?
Tower.
Cell tower, you don't commission it.
But it's operating.
Listen, what happened, we're learning, okay, how's that? Let's
Well,
put it this way.
that's why the discussion is here, and that's why nobody should just walk out. We're trying to get something resolved.
Yeah.
No, I'm
And,
not-
and we need to talk about it, not just walk out and be, I'm done with it. Because
Right.
nobody, we're not gonna get anywhere if we don't talk about it.
Right, but right now, like, as you notice, even a project like the one, old Glen Charlie Road, do you know the guy had duplex, but he was putting drainage. I even put in the condition that he needs inspection from our consultant.
But he's supposed to though, right?
No, it's,
When do you know when to,
Exactly.
how do I know when to reach out?
no, he's supposed to, because if that guy go builds it without, he's not getting occupancy.
Well, this is the problem, they're not. And I don't understand how contractors can keep their license if they're not doing it.
Oh, I gotta call him, like, it doesn't make sense to me.
So I go back to my original statement, page
I love it that
108
they can't hear me.
of the zoning bylaws that were approved and revised April 24th, 2023, page 108, section 1430, enforcement, subsection 1431 reads, zoning enforcement officer. The inspector of buildings shall be the zoning enforcement officer. Period. He shall not approve applications of any kind or plans or specifications or intended uses which are not in conformity in all respects with this bylaw, period. This enforcement power includes enforcement of Article 16 site plan review.
Okay.
So we gave him a permit. There's a zoning enforcement officer. It's not Sonia.
No, I just said Sonia. Who said it's Sonia?
Said write him a
So
letter.
all what we have to,
No.
listen, we're gonna,
You gotta give them a notice of violation that they didn't put in their rose bushes.
right, what we're gonna do, all right, what we're gonna do, we're gonna reach out with Phil. And if they don't listen, he will send them a cease and desist. How's that? And
That's-
they'll come back to us.
That sounds
okay?
like a plan.
Okay, all right? And from now on, hopefully we don't have a problem because we iterate on every site plan, you need inspections. And that's what the 53G is for.
And just to be clear for anybody, that this is not about pointing a finger, it's about getting things to work
No,
well.
no, I'm not trying to point.
No, I'm not saying that, I'm saying,
That's exactly how I go
True.
about it. We just need clear,
We need clarification on how it should be going forward. I don't know where I was going. But we should add that to the conditions. Add the extra bullet point about, I know we did it to that one, but we should get at it.
I know, but we
Going
just
forward.
started this last week, so we will, in each condition with
And
site plan. We haven't approved a site plan since then.
Right.
We'll say you need your inspection, although we don't have to say that. They're supposed to know
We
that. with
should, because
50
now we can have something to stand on. Here
Right.
it is.
Correct.
So we had something come before this board because the planning board approved something. They drove by, they saw something that they didn't like, that they had said, we don't want you to do that, and they were doing it. And they went to the building inspector and said, that's a no-no, and the building inspector issued a notice of violation.
Correct.
Then it came in front of us to be appealed.
Right.
And we either...
So we could do the same thing.
That's, it's that, yeah, exact, what happens, and I say this in all respect to our board, to our members, to the planning board, to all board, what happens is, somebody will get on the board, and they'll walk in, and they'll drop something on Sonia's desk and say, I need you to do this, and I need you to do that. That's no way to get things done. That's really no way to get things done. We've got a zoning, if you see something, or I see something, or he sees something that we think is wrong, like the tower and the no rose bushes, then you go to the zoning enforcement officer and you say,
Write the
"Damn it,
letter."
we told him we wanted dogwood trees planted there, and I don't see any dogwood trees, or rose bushes, or
Yeah.
arborvitae.
So write us a letter.
And go look back at our decision and read it. You're getting paid, $30, $40 a week. Go read our decisions. Read our decision. Did they follow it? If they followed it, leave them alone. If they didn't, go give them a notice of violation. That's what the town's paying you to do.
All right.
I don't mean that Paul's not doing his job, but I'm saying that for me to go to Sonia or to Ken or to the Conservation Commission guy there, the new director of boards or whatever.
Land use coordinator.
Oh, land use coordinator, yeah, titles.
All right, so
It does nobody any good.
we send them a letter. We'll have Phil
You
reach
don't
out
even need
to
to
us.
send him a letter. You just gotta swing by his office and say, hey, Paul, I think there's a violation over there. You wanna look into it?
All right.
well,
That's what I think.
basically, he won't act, well, he can act, but it has to be brought to his attention through the
Exactly.
complaint line.
He doesn't know if we don't tell him.
If he says simple, you're a pain in the neck. I don't have time to go look at towers and see if they got rose bushes.
Exactly.
Well, then you got a problem with him. If he says, hey, thanks for pointing that out, Richard, I'll go by and bust their cookies.
Well, it's the point, you know what I mean? It's the point, we gave a condition, and
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? We should be helping each other. I'm not out to make
All
his
right,
job harder.
so let's make story very short. We'll reach out, Phil will reach out. If they kindly, by themselves, address the issue, we're on the right track. If they don't, we'll ask the commissioner to write a letter. How's that? Everybody happy?
I feel
not
bad,
happy. I'm very
I feel bad for Phil now. Phil's got another
mad I
thing in
wanna
his
go
plate.
home.
you stayed, Phil, see what happens?
Is everybody happy?
Oh, I'm always happy.
Don't
Just
worry,
depends on the
be
time.
happy.
All right, back to the motion of the adjournment.
Ba-ba-boom,
Who made the motion?
I'm gonna,
I made the motion to, no, somebody moved to close, but I don't know who it was, I forgot.
and then
I-
you did, and then Rich,
between the second, I interrupted.
Rick started talking, so I'll make a motion to close.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
Second by Rich, all in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Thank you, it's closed.
And Chris?
Thank you, guys.